you've played Warhammer long enough, you begin to notice patterns in people, and sometimes you can learn things about someone just based on the army that they play.
Why are the big guys so big? And the little guys are so little?
Adeptus Astartes. Space Marine players are a dime a dozen. If you throw a rock in a Warhammer story, you'll hit 6 of these guys and be told to leave. Them being jacks of all trades makes them pretty reliable, so it's kind of easy to see why people play them. And they have like 5 million different flavors per sub-faction that I don't want to go into depth on, but I will, for the sake of making this video longer. It's very hard to say something about a Space Marine player without knowing the specific sub-faction that they play. But a good rule of thumb is most Space Marine players are pretty chill and respectful, with a few major exceptions depending on their chapter of choice.
Daring today, aren't we?
Ultramarines are seen as pretty basic, and sure they definitely are. The Ultramarines are the 40k thing, they're the thing that you saw when you were getting into the hobby. They are the faction on all of the basic Space Marine kits. Usually Ultramarine players kind of have a case of main character syndrome, but you kind of have to respect someone who is sticking to their guns and playing the basic faction, dealing with all the labels and grievances that other factions have over them getting literally everything. Dark Angel players are very insistent that you know that their chapter is chapter number 1, so I put them in second just to piss them off. Outside of that, they like the lore of their army and really like robes. I can't fault them for that though, robes are pretty cool. Also, if you're a Dark Angels player and you use Reddit, you are not looking for r/Dark Angels. That is not your subreddit, don't go there.
Oh mein Gott, der Codex Astartes ist ein Bunch of Bullscheiße.
Black Templars. Black Templars unfortunately have a bad reputation of being the faction that attracts assholes, which sucks, because low-key the lore of this faction is really funny. They heard that they could only have 1,000 Space Marines in their chapter unless they run a crusade, so they just thought that they should never stop crusading. This chapter is also very xenophobic, but their players have a hard time telling the difference between 40k fun and actually just being racist. Also, if you see that guy and they're playing Space Marines, they won't always be a Black Templar player.
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive.
Space Wolves. You're a furry. No, like seriously, I guess you could be into Vikings, but like your upgrade screen contains a wolf head for your Space Marines. Your Space Marines are all wearing fursuits.
Yes, phallic individual. It is I, Rogel Dorn.
It and you can't go through it and you can't knock it down. You know that you found the wall is moving on earth can make you fall.
Gentlemen, synchronize your death watches.
Deathwatch. These guys are actually pretty cool. They like the lore of their chapter and they make some fun jokes throughout the course of a game, but they don't really let their Space Marine chiming infect their personality. Also, they're usually decent painters who want to do a cohesive army with small but noticeable differences.
Brother, get the flamer. The heavy flamer.
Salamanders players are usually chill, but man, if they see an unarmed eldar child, there is no stopping them.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast.
White Scar players like the memes of the flaming skeleton that says something really wholesome in like the edgy voice, and their color scheme makes them look like Marlboros.
You really are the most devious bastard in New York City.
Blood Angels. These guys suck. And then there's going to be stock laughter sound effect. Blood Angels players are usually pretty chill and like their lore. They think that melee fighting is fun, and if they can find a way just to fit a few more melee units into their army list, they're going to do it. And they really like Dante. Not that Dante. That Dante.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude!
Iron Hands players really like Dreadnoughts, and the idea of being a smith smokes them. Or you chose the Iron Hands because your Primarch, Ferrus Manus, whose name means Iron Hand, leading the Iron Hands, might add all have Iron Hands in order to pay their respects to John Ironhand, scratches your very specific need for every character in every piece of media to be referred to as John media name. Raven Guard. Oh yeah, these guys are a thing. They like sneaking, so I guess me forgetting about their existence counts as sneaking. Good job. I've never met a Raven Guard player, and I don't know the stereotype. But if you know the stereotype, tell me in the comments. Call to action.
Enemy spotted. What are your orders?
Astra militarum players. People who play the guard like the idea of being the everyman. dying forlorn and normal people succeeding against horribly unlikely odds. Or they play Krieg and they have one joke. Two if they're feeling creative that day.
It's massive. And you know what else is massive?
Imperial Knights. You're based and I love you. Marry me. These people saw the word mini and just wanted the biggest mini. They like to be the boss fight in a game. To these people, size isn't just important, it's everything. If you put a knight on the board and compare its size to a normal mini, it's so cool that the scale of these things would have if they were real. Also, they really like the story about the Tau finding out about these things and going, that's propaganda, and then finding out the hard way that knights are very, very real.
From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me.
Adeptus mechanicus. Mechanicus players are pretty simple. They like the Castellans. Go ask the mechanicus player what he thinks about a Castellan, and he will, without fail, tell you that it's cute. The other thing that you can say about all mechanicus players is that they have all bankrupted themselves for this army. Look at how few points you get for every unit in a mechanicum box. Ask a mechanicus player how much money they've spent on their army, and they will look at you with the pain of an empty wallet.
So you want to be a banana boy, eh? Well, it's not that simple. You must pass a series of tests.
Adeptus Custodians. Custodians players are either one of two types of people. People who play Custodians because they're the cheapest army to accrue points with wise by a mile, or they play Custodians because they enjoy playing an army where practically nothing they own will ever die. All these models have so much tankiness to them. Usually Custodians players have a bit of an ego thing going on, because Henry Cavill plays this army, and he's cool, so by the laws of transactivity, they must be cool. Also, Custodians are really easy to paint.
Abhor the demon!
Grey Knights. You really want to fight that Chaos Demon player at your local game store so you can live out your faction-specific fantasy, but the demon player really doesn't want to fight you because of all your anti-demon rules. And also, you really want new models. Like, really badly. God, these things are old.
Hey, Pac-Man, what's up?
Me, you bitches! I'm high on crack!
Imperial Agents. Wait, Imperial Agents have an army?
Have you heard of the High Elves?
Craft World Eldar. You wanted to play as elves because you saw Lord of the Rings movies, and you really liked Legolas, but you really wanted to see him with a lightsaber. You think you're better than me just because you can read?
Pac-Man's a bad guy?
They don't want you to know this. All Drukhari players are sexual deviants and want the elves to step on them. If your army includes Harlequins at any stage, you post that one image of Joker unironically. Go ahead, say I'm a nerd for playing Warhammer 40k. Say it one more time, I dare you.
Let the galaxy burn!
Chaos Space Marines. You wanted to play Space Marines, but you didn't want to be labeled as basic, so you chose the Space Marines, but... Chaos Space Marines stereotypes do change depending on the sub-faction they lean towards.
Death to the enemy!
Black Legion players are the Ultramarine players of the Chaos Space Marines. So they're pretty upbeat players and can take losing in stride. And when it comes to the tabletop, they just mostly run units that they think look cool, which is the way to be, I can't lie.
Excellent!
Thousand Sons. So these guys usually think that just because they're playing a faction based around following the God of Secrets that they're really smart. Which means sometimes they are, but other times their master plan falls apart within moments of being put into place. But don't tell them this or else they're going to hit you with the... Death Guard. These guys really saw the Space Marines that don't shower and went, yep, that's me. But despite this, the majority of Death Guard players are really nice and respectful, and only some of them don't shower. All in all, a Death Guard player is just there to play the game of the faction they like, and I can't really fault them for that. But I can fault them for being so goddamn tanky, oh my god.
Oh, the thrill of the double life!
I'm Spartacus! 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 I'm Spartacus!
Is it okay if I touch you?
Emperor's Children. There are three kinds of Emperor's Children's players. Freaky Emperor's Children's players, Pastel Emperor's Children's players, and Freaky Pastel Emperor's Children's players. Take your pick. World Eaters. World Eaters players like to hit things and scream,
Blood for the blood god! Blood for the blood god! Blood for the blood god!
which to be fair is extremely catchy and the main phrase that has transcended 40k and become somewhat well known in popular culture. And they really like their chain axes.
detecting multiple Leviathan-class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?
Chaos Knights. The same stereotypes apply here as to Knights, but you like spiky things and Mad Max aesthetics.
My girlfriend left me for a bee!
Tyranids. These players are someone's younger brother who were given this army due to it being one of the 2 armies included in the starter kit for 40k, and have been stuck with the bug army ever since. Usually these players think that the bugs are just kinda neat, but lucky for you I had a discussion with your average Tyranid player and it went something like this. So, why do you play Tyranids?
It's all about the greater good.
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
Shut it!
Tau. People don't like the Tau, mostly due to the fact that the Tau were apparently originally too nice for 40k and weren't evil enough so that James Workshop had to rewrite their lore in order to make them more grimdark. Despite that not being true, people still love information, so they just hate the Tau. Now in practice, Tau players can be understood based on their actual fielded miniatures. If the Tau player runs mostly mech suits, they wanted to play a mech army, but thought that Imperial Knights was too big, or they like Gundam, and they're still waiting for Titanfall 3. If they run mostly auxiliaries, then they're a hipster who thinks that the best Tau army has no Tau in it, and they want the option to do that, and honestly I agree, give them a named Kroot character in it. If they run Farsight Enclaves, it's because they're sexy, hot, and cool, and here's my completely unrelated Commander Goat site that I painted to look like Master Chief. Orks. You ever see a comedy actor hemming it up and obviously loving every second of the world that they're playing? Take that image and apply it to a Warhammer army, and you have the average Orc player. Their list is, on average, going to have a minimum of 100 boys, and they love to scream wah, and are overall a little obnoxious, but in like a lovable sort of way. Also, all of their models are kit bashed from other stuff they bought and wanted to turn into a specific mini. And to that I say, pop off. Orc players are kinda dope. Necrons. You picked the equivalent of the Stellaris Fallen Empire as your faction? You absolute power gamer. You picked the faction that's gonna win 40k, you godless heathen, and you really fucking like bringing back half your army every turn and making the other player feel like they wasted their entire turn dealing with anything you have on the board. No, I'm not upset about it. Shut up.
Rock and stone!
Leagues of Votann. You play Deep Rock Galactic. That's it. That's the joke. Did you want what more do you want from me? That's it. Rock and stone.
Gene.
Genestealers.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never seen anyone play this faction.